Donald Trump cannot win the US election. I keep telling my friends this, there will never ever be free and fair elections in the US. Never, as long as the shadow government is in control. Shadow government is the first thing that will stop Trump from becoming president. Then NATO and the military industrial complex will stop Trump from becoming president. Shadow government consists of 300 people. These 300 people develop policies that control the world. These 300 people develop ideas and foster it, push it out to the world. Shadow government, everything has been orchestrated. Mark my words, on that day when the election is going on, it will look like Donald Trump is climbing up. Then at midnight, Kamala Harris will come. It will look like she has surpassed Donald Trump, and the next day they will announce her as president. Trump will litigate, Trump will go to court, but that's where it's going to end. It will not be more than that. COVID-19 was planned. Guys, your boy VOB. Donald Trump cannot win the US election. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a massive Trump fan, but the cards are stacked against him. Trump will win this election. Trump will have the numbers, but Trump will not be the next president of America. Ask me why. You check the news Sunday afternoon. What do you see? Trump, another assassination attempt, right? The whole world is stacked up against Donald Trump. And when I say the whole world, what do I mean? I mean three major components: the military complex, the shadow government, and the global world order. It has been agreed since 2019 that Trump will never be the president of the United States again. Trump is populist. After all, he's not the only populist politician, but Trump is the only populist politician that is ready and fully intent on destroying the world order. There's a shadow government, and what do I mean by shadow government? Shadow government refers to the deep state. Shadow government refers to people who are not really in power, but they are tasked with keeping the world the way they want the world to be run. They have different policies push out globally, policies such as COVID was pushed by the shadow government, COVID was pushed by the global world order. It came to us as a surprise, but to people that planned it, it was not a surprise. Another pandemic is going to come, but that's a topic for another day. Now, let me go over to the main topic. Trump was nearly assassinated on Sunday. It's the second time Trump has faced an assassination attempt. Now, the problem here is not even the assassination attempt. No matter how much of a Trump fan you are, know that Trump is not going to become the next president of the United States. The world order won't let it happen. Military industrial complex won't let it happen. NATO won't let it happen. The shadow government won't let it happen. Why? There are so many things that Trump is going to make happen, which the world is not ready to let it happen. So the world is not in that Trump presidency. You might ask me, what do I mean by this? Just stay, relax. I'm coming. Now, remember I told you that there are three major factors why Trump is not going to win the presidency. Not because he's not going to get the votes, not because majority of the American people won't vote him. The difference between Trump and Kamala Harris is clear, black and white. They are two polar opposites. It does not take a magic wand to know who will be better for the American people and who will be more better for the globalists. Now, remember what I told you? I told you the shadow government is the first thing that will stop Trump from becoming president. Then NATO and the military industrial complex will stop Trump from becoming president. Shadow government consists of 300 people. These 300 people develop policies that control the world. These 300 people develop ideas and foster it, push it out to the world. Shadow government since 2019 agreed that Trump will never be president. Remember, shadow government controls the US, controls the Democratic Party, controls the Joe Biden administration, controls 95% of the major media organizations. When you want to control the people, the first thing you do is to control the media. The shadow government controls the media. When you want to control the people, the first thing you do is to control the production of food and to control the production of oil. That is controlled by the shadow government. And when you want the world to go how you want it to go, the next thing you do is to control the military industrial complex, and the shadow government controls this. Now you might ask, what is the shadow government? The shadow government is the committee of 300 members, and it controls affairs of the world, the military affairs of the world, political affairs of the world, social affairs of the world, and they release policies to direct the global world order. Bill Gates is among the shadow government, is among the committee of 300. Russia is not among, China is not among the shadow governments. That also tells you why Russia, China would never ever agree with the US. They have two different ideologies, they have two different views of the world. Sorry to burst your bubbles. Election is going to come in the US, but there will never ever be free and fair elections in the US. Never, as long as the shadow government is in control of the world affairs. What do I mean by this? Why am I saying this? Why would I make such allegations? I'm coming. I'll get you there. I'll explain everything. Just listen and understand. We will never ever see a Trump presidency again. You know why? Because these people are not controlled by the shadow government. These people are not controlled by the Committee of 300. And this Committee of 300 includes the Illuminati, majority of the leaders of Western countries. It includes members of Freemason, and apart from some illegal things which I will not be able to answer here that the shadow government, the Committee of 300 does, they have sworn that Trump will never be president. RFK Jr. will never be president. It's not possible because they don't control these people. If they are not using a Joe Biden, who they can control, they'll use Kamala Harris, who is definitely their stooge. If Trump wins the presidency, Trump owes it to the American people because Trump knows that he was put in there by the American people. But Kamala Harris knows she was never voted in. The Democrat Party never voted her in. She was put in there. She's placed there, so she's answerable to the people that put her there. She knows the people that put her there. Those are the people that she's answerable to. And that is why everything about her is telegraphed. From the debates, her outings, she doesn't ever look real. Her laughter does not look real. Her communication does not look real. And she will say anything to make it look like, okay, it's a close election and all of that. When they say stuff like that, then on the day they'll not tell you, okay, we beat Donald Trump by 1,000 votes or by 2,000 votes. Forget it. In a free and fair election, Trump is beating Kamala Harris hands down. And the election is carried out today in the United States of America between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. Donald Trump will beat her hands down. The gap will be so wide because the major things affecting Americans right now is the economy, immigration. Every American trusts Donald Trump on those two major things. Everything has been orchestrated. Mark my words. On that day, when the election is going on, it will look like Donald Trump is climbing up. Then at midnight, Kamala Harris will come. It will look like she has surpassed Donald Trump. And the next day, they will announce her as president. Trump will litigate. Trump will go to court. But that's where it's going to end. It will not be more than that. It will not be more than that. And it's really, really sad. To understand the Committee of 300 perfectly, I recommend you read the book, The Conspirators' Hierarchy. So The Conspirators' Hierarchy was written by a former intelligence officer of over 25 years, Dr. John Coleman. He has dined with these people. He has gotten information. The information he released in that book came out of over 20 years of constant research, constant information, constant communication with the people in the Committee of 300. And that's where majority of my fact is coming out from. And not just that, from the way I've looked at things, it will not be the last assassination attempt of Donald Trump. They've tried to shoot him, they've tried to imprison him, they've tried to use the court against him, they've tried to use Russian election interference against him. They will keep trying whatever to discourage him, to disapprove him, to dispel him, to discourage people from voting for him. But Trump has a special kind of blessing, a particular kind of blessing that always follows him. Trump is someone that you either love him too much or you hate him too much. But the American people are wiser now. They've gone through 4 years of Biden and Kamala Harris, and they know who they want. They know what they want. They know how the economy, they know how the country was under Trump's tenure. So they're going to vote for Trump. But there's nothing in this world that will make Trump to win. The NATO military-industrial complex does not want a Trump presidency. Do you know why? Because a Trump presidency would mean a reduction in the amount of wars going on. And Raytheon, Boeing, these companies need the constant, if you notice, every 25 years there's always a war by the US or that the US is involved in. Why? Because the military-industrial complex needs to make money. They need to do research on the battlefield. They need to do research with their bombs. They need to do research with their weapons. They need to sell, they need to make money. Majority of the money that you see that they are giving to Ukraine, they say they are donating to Ukraine. It doesn't go to Ukraine. It goes to the American military industrial complex. The American military industrial complex includes these military companies I just mentioned, like Raytheon, like Boeing. These companies produce weapons. They produce a lot of weaponry which is used in the battlefield. So whenever you hear the US say they are donating money to Ukraine, majority of that money goes to these companies who now produce the weapons and send the weapons to Ukraine. So Ukraine is not just a battlefield where the Ukrainians fight the Russians. It's also a place that is giving money to the American government through the military industrial complex, and also a place that the US government is using to test out weaponry. Since they are not in any war themselves, they use that place to test out weaponry. A Trump presidency will mean an immediate cessation of hostilities between Russia and Ukraine. The military industrial complex doesn't want that. The military industrial complex wants a degradation of American adversaries like Russia, like China. The military industrial complex wants a China-Taiwan war. The military industrial complex wants a Ukrainian and Russian war to last as long as possible, to degrade Russian capabilities and to degrade Chinese capabilities. But the truth of the matter is that Ukraine cannot win Russia. I say this with all humility and I say this with all seriousness. Ukraine cannot win Russia. Russia is a nuclear power. Russia is a war machine. This is the Soviet Union we're talking about. This war will surely end in negotiation. But how the negotiation occurs, no one knows for now. So each warring party are trying to increase their wins on the battlefield so they can come from a better negotiating factor. A Trump presidency means this war will stop. What Trump says about the war stopping is not a campaign strategy. It's not campaign tactic. Trump will stop the war. And that would be a reduction in the amount of dollars that goes to the military industrial complex. The military industrial complex doesn't need a Trump presidency. I can name a lot of people, top people in the US government, top Jewish people, and the board of these military production companies. They don't want a Trump presidency because a Trump presidency would reduce the affairs of the military industrial complex. So that's one. And the military industrial complex works with NATO. NATO is the world's oldest military alliance. And NATO's major adversary is Russia. So the war between Ukraine and Russia serves NATO's interest. If Ukraine wins or goes far in degrading Russian military capabilities, it's a plus, it's a win for NATO. NATO needs it. So you see why a Trump presidency will not be good for NATO and the military industrial complex, because a Trump presidency will mean the end of the war. NATO doesn't want this war to end. No. If I tell you the amount of espionage, if I tell you the amount of data collection, if I tell you the amount of spying work that's going on in Ukraine by the CIA, by NATO spy agencies, you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe it. So Trump will try his best. Trump will campaign. He's not going to die. It's not his destiny to die. At least not now yet. He will go. The odds will be in his favor, but Kamala Harris will be installed as president. Trump will go to litigate it. Trump will fight. He will try his best. But this has been agreed a long time ago, that Trump will be president, and he won't be president. It's sad to see. It's sad to see that a country that prides itself as the beacon of democracy is so politicized that the votes won't count anymore. Well, let's see. If you think I'm wrong, let me know. If you think I'm right, let me know. But I've never seen a politician this criticized, this attacked, this demonized, and he still stands strong. He will use everything and go every way against Donald Trump. But he will stand strong. But he won't be the next president of the United States. Tell me what you think about this video. Tell me if you think what I'm saying is true. Tell me if you think what I'm saying is false. Tell me if you think he'll be the next president.